Blessed love to everyone. Let me ask you a question now. Do you have a copy of our digital electronic book, The True Biblical Land of Israel? Now, if you do not have a copy of The True Biblical Land of Israel, to get a copy of The True Biblical Land of Israel, all you have to do is email us, priestisaac27@gmail.com. This is the book that was once a theological paper. This is the book that we have issued the challenge on. That challenge being, if anyone can dispute and refute our facts, that according to the biblical description, the geography of the Bible, according to the information coming out of that specific book, the biblical land of Israel, again, described in the Bible, is Africa plus Arabia. And as I said, within the pages of the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel, we give the facts, we give all the references as it relates to the narrative of the Bible. And of course, we still bring in some archaeology and anthropology. But of course, the core of the discussion is coming from the scriptures. So this is why the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel, is not a book to try to validate the Bible. It is a book that proves that according to the Bible, whatever the origin is, or wherever it came from, or whoever originally wrote it, that's not the point. The point that according to this well-respected book, the Bible, the land of Israel is Africa plus Arabia. So as I said, our ebook, all you have to do is email us and we ship it to you through the email. You find it in your inbox right away. And of course, your payments can be made right away as well, as we utilize the PayPal, and the PayPal is the same as our email, priestisaac27@gmail.com. And let me just say as well, for a very limited time, and we'll tell you when the time has met its limit, we will be offering the book Anu, Ancient and Modern, with the biblical land of Israel. Listen to me good. So when you buy or purchase the biblical land of Israel, we would give you a free copy of the book Anu. Now the value of both is $20 each, United States currency. So you'll be literally getting a $40 value for just purchasing the biblical land of Israel. And the same goes for Anu. When you purchase the book Anu, Ancient and Modern, we will give you a free copy of the true biblical land of Israel. And listen to me, I'm not done yet. And when you purchase them both, you would get a free copy again. When you purchase them both now, you're buying the two of them, we give you a free copy of The Night of the Black Tiger, which is not a book, at least it's not in book form as yet, but it is our more recent DVD video documentary, Night of the Black Tiger, the divinity of Marcus, Messiah Garvey. And I can go on and on because, we have so many other things to offer. And the point really is, once you shop with us, we always have some gift to give you. That's really the point. So as I said, the true biblical land of Israel. As I said, this is the book that is the challenge that has gone out, where we have just one university at the moment that has even responded to the challenge. So that means that there must be something in the book that cannot be denied. You need to get your copy of the book. And as I said, payments can be made through the PayPal as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Blessed love. And what a joy, what a joy, what a joy, what a joy. Yeah. Blessed love to each and every one. Give thanks. To who? Come on, someone tell me. Yeah, the life giver and the keeper of life. Yeah, who's that? Come on, somebody got to know. Kadamawe Haile Selassie the first. Give thanks. So what time is it? You're definitely into the what? Shock of the hour. Alright, and where are you? You're in the tiger's nest. Okay, we're doing good. We're doing good. Alright, give thanks. I'm not gonna ask you who am I. Give thanks for your presence with us, Honorable Priest Isaac here. It is a joy that you could well, we said all of that already. So let's just go on with the program. Yes, my brothers and sisters, it's always a joy, man. That's how it is, This is not us when we put on the power switch and the cameras, action and all that. No, we always on the vibes, whatever the vibes is. Definitely, obviously, to begin the program, we welcome you as if you just came to the door, and then we get into it. Sometimes the smile disappears, and sometimes sometimes it lasts all through. Anyway, the people didn't come to hear no gaffing, man. What did they come to hear? They came to hear an upful educational program. So let us make sure we have something for them. I was definitely itching to do something about, the patriarch himself, one of our great esteemed, patriarch specifically, without a doubt. You cannot take away this staff from him for sure. One Leonard Percival Howell, and his earthly will be coming up. Well, it's still a few days from now, but it will be the 16th of June. But as I said, it was just itching that we just do something on him, and maybe something else could be done even down the line. But what I wanted to do tonight here on the Shock of the Hour is to just highlight an interview that I quite like. I like it very much. It's an interview with his daughter, Catherine Howell, I think it is. A name extremely similar to my mother's name. And as I listened to the interview, I said that I don't know how many people have actually watched this interview. We're extracting it audio-wise from the internet. And just to hear it from his daughter's perspective, that's very good. So I just wanted to highlight that this evening. And of course, Brother Leonard P. Howell, there's so many things you could say about him, to be honest, and of course, coming into Rastafari, one of the first book actually, I received, Rasta and Resistance, of course, went into Brother Leonard P. Howell, and of course, also going into Archibald Dunkley and Joseph Hebert and, Robert Hines and these ones for sure. And therein comes the whole aspect of the concept of the first Rasta. And these are not the level of conversations I like to really delve into, Even a Bobo would tell you, yeah man, Prince Emmanuel is the first Rasta. I don't really like to fight that kind of vibration at all. And I'll tell you why. As an individual, for example, that has traveled and spent some time in Jamaica, you'll be surprised. For those of you who are, well, not Jamaican really, but those of you who will live on, familiar with Jamaica, let's just leave it at that. You will know the history on the ground is not exactly the same as it's, off the ground. For example, right here in Antigua, 108 square miles, the population, nothing close to the population of Jamaica, But yet still, there's an argument that has been around here for a long time about who's the first Rasta around here. And as long as you would live, you would still hear other elders and ones that are not even Ras come and give you a next story and say, man, you can battle with them man fighting over that, Even before them man knot up their head, The other man that used to live in the hills, right? I remember him like as a little baby, and we used to go, my brother used to carry me, and this man used to tell us about Selassie. Enough people don't know about this man. And this is, you hear this and then you hear about a woman now. right here in Antigua, and this woman just be in the corner preaching, so them man that arguing over here and over here, and that's just little old us. You know, Rastafari as a movement didn't start here. You understand? It started and spring out in Jamaica. I mean, in this modern time, we don't know the ancients. It's an African tradition, obviously, but in its resurrection amongst those who have been, you know, captured, kidnapped, and brought far beyond, carried far beyond Caribbean, where they belong. That's why it rose up in the Caribbean too, in Jamaica. You know, so just the reality, you can't run from none of this. So the argument of the first Rasta, as I said, being on the ground in Jamaica, okay, just history itself, to be very honest. When you just look at history, we mentioned Archibald Dunkley. Now, it is 1933. That is the said timing that Archibald Dunkley officially was considered to have started preaching the gospel of Rastafari. He's the one that established the King of Kings Ethiopian mission. And at the same time, it's the same timing that Leonard P. Howell also was rising such a standard. We've always heard that the patriarch was also at the coronation. Well, I've read that. I'm sure anyone that is deep in any Rastafari study would have heard that. You don't really hear that from the mainstream articles and the regular historians, but there seem to be some vibes that the brethren was at the coronation. And I'm not putting my head on the block for that one. I'm not sure. Nothing impossible. He was a well-traveled man as well. Definitely well-traveled and have traveled the world and has even been associated with Marcus Messiah Garvey. In fact, there is a picture where you see Messiah Garvey with Leonard P. Howell, it is said, on that picture, and another brother. So when you consider all of this, you know, already even before accepting Rastafari, then this is my point. Even before accepting Rastafari, there was a strong consciousness within the brother. You know what I mean? From the fact that you walking in the realms of Marcus Messiah Garvey, there obviously must be some connection there with yourself and understanding who you are as an African. So it is interesting that even up until this time, this man is considered the first Rasta, in which way you turn it. Not only just the first Rasta, you know, but as a Rasta, if you want to call it. Just using these terms, just to go with the flow, so the understanding can be clear. I don't want to complicate nothing at all. So being as they refer to him as the first Rasta. Not just that, but also establishing a community early out too, in the 1930s, which is the Pinnacle. And not just establishing a community, but a thriving community. You know, we talk of Black Wall Street. You know, we talk of, what do you call it? Little Africa. And although we must admit, as we have gone into this, that is more than just Black Wall Street, you know, it's more than just Tulsa, Oklahoma. You know. There were many Black Wall Streets all over the US, all over North America, and we were doing it also in the Caribbean. And Rastafari, those who have been ostracized and looked down upon, you know, those who we turn up our nose to and, oh please, oh I never, and all of that kind of stuff, retreated to the hills early in the faith, and set up themselves as an industrial kingdom. Yeah, that's the Pinnacle I talking about. And set up themselves as according to all the reports. I've never been there. Not even in this modern day time I've ever been to the place Pinnacle still. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people in Jamaica that have never been to Pinnacle. But what I'm just showing you that from the history that the elders have passed down to me. And in fact, I think we're going to even show you or present to you some of the elders speaking about Pinnacle. And the impression that you are getting is that it was a thriving little hub. You know what I mean? And ganja, the crop was moving and booming. It was ganja, according to the reports. That was like, if not the main economy, but definitely ranking up there when it comes to the revenue coming in. The tree of life, the cannabis. And everyone, the houses were well furnished and well set. And food and everything, and those who were saying Rastafari was living good. Some people would argue about who didn't have locks and nothing, but from my understanding, there were many ones in the Pinnacle that carried their natty. Because even before, and this is why you get now again, even when you know, like if you're in Jamaica and you live in Jamaica, you don't even have to live there. Once you get around the right people will tell you, which is just fact without a doubt, that even before Leonard Howell and Archibald Dunkley and so came back, and he was away too, they already had man in the hills practicing that ancient livity. And ones will still tell you they also had ones, even if they may not have locks, that were already highlighting that, hey, that man that crowned in Ethiopia, I think it's that man Marcus Garvey was telling us about, you know, even before the brothers come back. But that is not history that has hit the history books then. Because if someone was to write a book on Leonard P. Howell, they're going to just Google something, you know, or read something that has already been written and maybe just extract the same information and regurgitate it again. You know, that's how it is. How deep would you really go and study? You know, I'm not writing a book, but the fact that I could balance this off now and show you certain little things is because I take time to do research. What I'm saying to you is not guessing, you know, it's years of research, you know. Time that I take to sit with ones that would know. You know, a lot of even what I speak about King Emmanuel is not Bobo alone I get it from. You understand? So that's what I'm trying to show you. So it's you go deep into the realms of your study, whatever you're into. But anyway, basically, you know, from my perspective, we definitely must give thanks for, you know, these forerunners, give thanks for the Honorable Brother there, Leonard P. Howell, you know, give thanks, as I said, the Pinnacle. If it's anything, that is a key. If it's anything, man, more than being first, I sure first wasn't his vibes. But the Pinnacle, the name alone, man, just as an example to all ones, you know, of the power that was there even such time. What I'm going to do here, I'm just going to run a little of this. This is an interview that was done in Shashamane, and it's from Pinnacle to Shashamane. I'm not going to run everything, and this is with his daughter, and she'll be giving you a nice little vibes. Shock of the hour with you, you know.
I'm very much responsible for recording, even from foundations, yeah.
What is the brother doing the interview?
Many personalities and persons of importance have been here, and I do acknowledge and take the opportunity to record these individuals, and better still take their testimony. Your testimony is very, very important, simply because your father is kind of like a mythical figure. You understand?
Yes.
When you hear things about him, you know, you wonder how much of it is factual and how much of it is just, you know, Rasta man.
Which is fiction and which is non-fiction.
Yes, you know.
Yes.
So we're going to really take the opportunity to go through some of the things. What I'm going to ask of you first and initially is to introduce yourself, right? And then after that, you can take it from where you choose to start about telling us about your father. Whenever there's a point of pause or when you give a break, I will ask a question. I might go forward and things that you said, but I'll probe a little bit more in certain areas. And then after that, about your father, you can mention towards the sealer your works that you see for yourself, be it here in Ethiopia or in Africa, as the future works. So first, can you introduce yourself to us, please?
Yeah, I am Catherine Howell, last daughter of Leonard Howell, founding father of the Rastafarian in Pinnacle, St. Catherine. I was born in Pinnacle, St. Catherine, and pretty much my father told me he named me Catherine because I'm going to catch them in St. Catherine. Recently, I realized why he said this because I look at my father as a messenger that was sent from the Almighty, that he has done his work and he has gone on, and he has passed the baton on to myself and my brothers to carry on the work. I have got a very important mission right now that I'm doing in Jamaica, and primarily it's restoration of Pinnacle. So I can see why he says, Catherine gonna catch him in St. Catherine. Now pertaining to my father, Leonard Howell, it's hard to describe in verse because my dad is perhaps one of the most mystical, interesting, powerful, admire, superhuman person I have ever known. And I can only remember a poem I once heard, and it goes like this: lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime and departed leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. Certainly, my dad has left his footprints that Rastafari should unite. And as our Emperor says, we need to there are three main concepts that he put together. And that was organize and unite. And we have to come together in oneness, regardless of what we call ourselves, Bobo, Shante, and 12 Tribe, and whatever name we have given each other. We're all under one Rasta. I just want to give you a brief history that I really don't want to get into a lot of information right now to overwhelm anyone. There are books out there that you can go and read, and I'm not good at giving interviews because I don't really like interviews. People sometimes dissect what you have to say and they add words to it or they subtract words from it. But this interview I'd like to be in a very, not a negative, but in a very positive way. Daddy was the first man, and I'm sure there are other people before him that have preached Rasta.
Interesting point that she just made there. Daddy was the first man, and I'm sure that there were some before him that has preached Rasta.
He was the most successful person that preaches Rastafarian doctrine way back in the 30s.
And that's the point I was making. But he was the most successful to have preached the doctrine. Marcus Garvey himself, Messiah Garvey, we like to say he's the first man. He's the one that woke us up and this and that, and everything came after him. But there were people that he admired. That's Marcus Garvey, Booker T. Washington. But there was none, even Booker T. Washington in his, if you want to say success, there was none as successful as Messiah Garvey. Yes. Go ahead, sister. Just wanted to make the point.
And he had started in St. Thomas and went through the different part of the island. And he told me that he had a picture of His Majesty that he would issue to the people and says, "This is your Lord and King."
Yes, I.
It's not about the Queen of England or the King of England that you're calling your Lord and King. Il Selassie is your Lord and King, and you do have a black king. And so they used to say Rasta worship man for God. Well, what about the white man that worship man for God? What about the white man that bow down to His Majesty and says, my Lord, my God? Is it really wrong that we can have a king that we have to say, my Lord, my God? And here we have a king that's come all the way back from the tribe of Judah, King Solomon Day. And if you have to, you cannot compare El Selassie to any other king because he surpasses them all. But I'm switching back and forth here, but coming back to the whole concept of Rasta, Daddy had
good vibes this.
When he came back from the United States, because this is something that my father, the philosophy of one unity and repatriation to Africa has really started back when Marcus in the United States, the Black Star Line, wanted, the black people and the children of African heritage to go back to Africa and to see the need of the atrocities, the racial discrimination, degradation, and all the atrocities that went on. Daddy was very much part of that, part of the Pan-African. He had toured Africa and did fought in the Ashanti War.
Yes,
he lived in Ghana, wrote several books in Ghana. One of the most popular books that was even sent to Jamaica was called The Promised Key.
Hold on upon The Promised Key. You hear the sisters say? Leonard P. Howell fight in the Ashanti War in Ghana. Let me just take a jolly charity. Ja? Rastafari. Blessed love, blessed love. Word time. So dead ear kills, eh? That's unlikely, yes. He fight in the Ashanti War in Ghana.
Did fought in the Ashanti War. He lived in Ghana, wrote several books in Ghana. One of the most popular books that was even sent to Jamaica was called The Promised Key. And being such an outspoken person, he wasn't afraid to speak his mind and call a spade a spade. So back in the 30s, most of you are too young to understand the economic struggle that went on in the 30s. The years when most of the slaves were turned out from the plantation. They had nowhere to go. And they had nowhere to live. And so the Savior came, which is Leonard Howell, came and preached Rasta doctrine and says, I have bought 530 acres of land in Pinnacle, St. Catherine.
Well, that's how you go.
Come with me.
Yeah, man.
And let's live as one.
That's how much of
We have our own community.
Real fun.
We labor as one, we share, and we exist in oneness. And let's live. It was not yours or mine. It was us. You are your brother's keeper, and you are your sister's keeper. So what affects me affects you. And the greatest love and joy of all, brother, is to love thy neighbor as thyself. That was one thing my dad practiced until his death. And I'm so happy to know this. Because I felt heartfelt, even down in Shashamane here, to see how chain link has been broken. But it's not our fault. This was the doing of the white supremacists. And they're still trying to segregate us right now. But even going back to Pinnacle, because I'm keep switching because ideas coming into my head, and my head is full of so much reservoir to say and to put everything in a nutshell. But Pinnacle was one of the richest, self-sufficient, economically community, united community in Jamaica. And when I say this, I mean...
Hold on again. Don't feel no way, because the point is worth taking in and repeating. I'm not gonna repeat it for her. I just want you to understand key point. Yes, my sister.
Put everything in a nutshell, but
Listen.
Pinnacle was one of the richest self-sufficient.
No, I gotta help her. You hear that? Richest, self-sufficient. Economically. And here it is.
Community. United community in Jamaica.
Community.
And when I say this, I
In
mean
Jamaica.
everyone that lived in Pinnacle
Yes.
had their own home,
And Joe.
and they were independent. Some were farmers, teachers, lawyers, doctors, nurses, skilled trade men. I recall there's one brother who was making a ton of money just by making shoes from tire, the tire of the car and trucks. He would sit down and he would just cut off the tires and he'd put it on his back and send to the market and comes back with a ton of money. And I remember there's a brother that used to burn coal and he would get a united body of brothers who would support him and burn the coal, and they'd put it on the donkey back and take it down to the market and sell. And even my grandfather, too, who was a constructor and builder, every time there's a house to be built in the community, you would call my grandfather. He'd be right there. As a matter of fact, my grandfather is one of those really strong home builders that have built Cayman's estate right now. And by so doing that, everyone was so productive because each one would teach one, and everyone would generate, because what would really happen, even though they were living together and they were a union, they were still independent in their own way because they had their own income. But at the end of the day, this Saturday was the Sabbath day in Pinnacle, and that was the day of worship. The women would wear white, and also the women would cover their hairs and wear their long dresses. And every Sabbath day there would be a community setting. The men cook and the women would serve the food.
Hold on. Yeah. No, tell you what. Go ahead, sister. We talk about that later.
So there was no way that anybody in Pinnacle would have starved, because if you are my next door neighbor and I have no food, it's just a stone's throw away that you go next door. And it is customary that when you come to my house, you have got to eat. You cannot leave my house whether you have had your dinner at your house and you come. You have to eat. And the brethren, of course, would sit down and reason. Reasoning, too, was even consist of our herbal ganja. Daddy took the ganja seed, of course, from India and Africa. So there was all different grade of ganja that came through Pinnacle. And the ganja itself was being cured. Once it was planted, it was cured. And once it was cured, it can go on. Sometimes the longer you cure the ganja, is the more potent it becomes. And the more potent it becomes, is the more powerful it becomes. So the Rasta in Pinnacle used ganja for 1, for worshipping, 2, for medicine, and 3, for cooking. Most of you say for cooking, huh? What? I wish you would at least try that in some soup. Instead of using thyme, just add a little of the green herb that you have to your soup or to your stew. Gives it a lot of flavor. And for medicine, we know about ganja curing glaucoma. There are so many people in right now, my left eye, and people look at me and say, oh, is that your eye, Sister Catherine? My left eye right now, I do have glaucoma. And this is 2007, and my ophthalmologist just understanding that ganja really will cure my eye by keeping the pressure down. Daddy knew that long time ago. We were doing that years ago. stomach problem, a lot of problems. We would drink the ganja tea. My mother, who had cancer in Kansas City, Missouri, her doctor recommended, after giving her the chemotherapy, told her to go to Jamaica and try drinking the ganja tea, so she could at least start gaining some weight back after she had lost all that weight and had no more appetite. So they took her off the chemotherapy.
But she jumped in, like she
drinking the
said.
ganja tea, getting fresh air and exercise. And it prolonged her life for several years before she passed away. And that's the case too of the medicine form. For worshipping, the Rasta brother was not really in a situation where he goes and smoke the weed on the street and walk around smoking weed on the street. That was not it. You smoke the weed, you know, in your home, go visit a virgin you're Riesling, you smoke your weed, and you go to the tabernacle, you smoke your weed. So when they're really saying to us that, you know, we're going to smoke weed and we're going to be mad, I really never seen any of my brethren in Pinnacle, because everyone that I know that lived in Pinnacle lived over 80 years before he or she passed away. Ganja become a big commodity, and the government of Jamaica came to Pinnacle and realized how special this weed is, decided to capitalize on it. So they start buying the weed from Pinnacle and exporting it to places like England and to America. And they realized that this was, wow, this is a money-making thing here.
As I said, definitely into the shock of the hour. And let me just highlight that you could touch upon the full interview there on from Pinnacle to Shasha Mani, and you could definitely see that on the internet. That is specifically YouTube. But now, as I said, that is Sister. It doesn't really have that much long to go anyway. But there's another clip I want to bring to your attention here. So while I'm looking for that other clip there, that obviously shows you, you know, the how what Rastafari is all about. For those of us who would advocate and push the point that we're dealing with the first Rasta and the first Rasta community and such, and that's why I really began, especially as a scholar, man, a researcher there, for sure, within my lane, you know, you gotta keep your lane. I would clearly say that, you know, that is why in my outlook, I'm doing a couple of things at the same time. That is why in my outlook, you know, and my lane, then as I said, one has to be diligent in his research. So you don't just drop a point and just say, yeah, man, he's the first Rasta because somebody else says so. And, you got to do a diligent study and a diligent research. That's why his own daughter would have showed you. Well, definitely, you know, she said, you know, as the first Rasta, and then she just actually pulled it back like, so, well, I'm sure, of course, there were many before him, yeah. But he was the most successful, and that's basically what it is, you know. And I'm coming from a historian point of view then, not just a talker or somebody conscious, and just talk it like people that say things, you know, there was no J in Hebrew, so Jesus never exists, and just take that and you're supposed to know better than that, priest. You know, there was no J in Hebrew. So you believe there was a Christ? Well, priest, you're supposed to know better than that. There was no J in Hebrew. It's like, wow, where am I supposed to go with this, man? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so it's important, you know, to understand history from that perspective, on a proper perspective, you know. A lot of us, because we're very fanatical, straight up, very dogmatic, with a few drops of religiosity in us, we tend to, you know, jump at any moving target like some sort of trained dog or something. And that is why I break these things down. People would actually argue with me. You know I know my audience. People would argue with me. I don't know where they get this from. You never know. You never know. Emmanuel on the first Rasta. A man before Emmanuel. No, I never bring that argument with nobody, you know. So who's the first Rasta? Your boy Leonard P. Howell and them man before Emmanuel. Them man is the first Rasta. Ain't the Bubba chanting, they encourage them argument. Well, if you want to, it's up to you. So what makes a man the first Rasta? There were man with locks before Leonard P. Howell. In fact, no, not the locks, man. It's a full package. The doctrine. Okay, fair enough. Alright. So who's really the first Rasta? Rastafari himself, Haile Selassie the first. I would assume that's the first Rasta. Alright. Okay, fair enough. Man, I ain't arguing no one. So I take it that Leonard P. Howell is the firstborn. I'm actually replaying a conversation I have with people. Say, yeah, man. Okay, straight up. Alright. If Christ is the Rasta, the first Rasta, would you say John the Baptist was a Rasta too? I've had this conversation. People say, well, yeah, okay, he's the first to proclaim the Christ. Exactly. So who's the first to proclaim the Christ? Who's the first to say, well, you see this man here? He actually point out the man and tell you before it happened that this man gonna get crowned King of Kings and this man is going to be your liberator. That's Marcus Messiah Garvey. Now you may say, well, nah man, that's Marcus, man. You can't compare Marcus different, man. So how come Marcus come different now? I mean, Marcus is not a Rasta. Remember Marcus not carrying a lot of it. But hey, Leonard P. Howell. In fact, Leonard P. Howell was of the same time frame exactly as I said their photos that some would say is Leonard P. Howell and Marcus Messiah Garvey. And before Leonard P. Howell accepted Haile Selassie I in his liberation status in the 1930s. Since 1928, Marcus Messiah Garvey pointing, and before that, but that's just the speech that they hold tight to for the 27th of March in Elvis Park. But prior to that, Messiah Garvey always spoke of this Ethiopian prince that one day will be king and he shall be the liberator of the Negroes. So let's just get that straight. So if that is the vibes that we're putting down, trying to find who is the first, if that's your argument, that ain't my argument, you know, but because people like to bring it to me. So, all right, bring it on. If that's your argument, Messiah Garvey is the first Rasta man. Straight up. So let's stop fighting over that. And just respect people for their works. Prophet Shaquan himself told me, I got to hail you up, Prophet, because this is a key point I'm making and I don't want no one to have me, merry-go-round. Yeah. That the Honorable King Emmanuel, at that time, Bongo Eddie, was one of them teachers, as the sister said, teachers according to what the Prophet told me. And here where the sister said they were farmers and teachers and right there in the compound according to what he told me. He was one of the teachers on the Pinnacle. And as Bobo Shanti, Rastafari, it is in the 1940s, according to the Black Christ, when he was on that, the scaffolding and painting and whatever the case was, and he had that encounter when he fell off from about 3 stories up. And for those who know the story, that is the time, according to the Black Christ, that he took up the mission and went forward. So this ain't no race. We ain't running no race trying to say, well, who first? And who first put on locks? And who never go Ethiopia? And who never see the king? And who had on glove when the shake the king had? Man, go listen, Elder High Priest I2 to the man. You ain't first and this one who first and first. And if it's first you want, we have the first lockdown, you know, man. But we ain't running no first. This is not into no first. This is giving a man his due. Bobo Shanti too, you know. Bobo Shanti too, you know, man. Man would act as if they don't even want to talk about Leonard Howell as if something wrong, you know. For them same dogmatic religious vibration. So you don't want big up Pinnacle? They play around, man. We need to get out of them childish behavior. Yeah. Yeah. So enough respect to Leonard P. Howell. You can say, who is you? No. Yeah, big up Pinnacle. Black Wall Street in the name of Rastafari. From the first Rasta he be? Alright, from we hit the ground running, we done start in a magnificent way. So respect the man. What's wrong with you? Them is childish vibes we just keep up. You check it. This is me talking, I have no time to play nobody. Nobody in the world can twist my head. King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. Whether he younger than this or older than this or he the first or you never hear about him, that is the Black Christ. You check it. And I hold anybody down with that. Anybody, any human being. I don't care how much knowledge you have. Just give us an hour piece. I have you running. Don't even try it. I have to I need proper time, you know. No run. Even might need even more than an hour if we're serious about getting it clear to the world. Charles Edwards, you're playing around. But anyway, there's a Leonard P. Howell program here now. So don't, and you know, sometimes you just have to put it out, you know. Sometimes you could hear the voices. And we need to get out of these petty little things. Hear what the sister was saying. Man need to unite. Hey, many of you have seen the documentary Roaring Lion. Just visiting it here on YouTube here, Roaring Lion. Hey, here this, you have 777,000 views. No, 799,000 views. Wow. 777,799. Let me see. Where am I?
When I come to Pinnacle, 1940.
Okay, so this is the mama talking about when she come to Pinnacle. Go ahead.
When I come to Pinnacle, 1940. And that day when I came was the 6th of February, 1940. 1940. We come to Pinnacle, the 6th of February. And the bookman checked that day, it was 1,798 and people never finished coming in.
Tell you.
Him happy feed the whole people there.
1,798 people. When she come in, I guess she was the 1,798th person. And people till are coming. And he have to feed the whole of them. Check it. Now, there was something that was said earlier when the sister was speaking. I'm coming forward to this other sister here. She clearly highlighted that, well, you know, we used to keep the Sabbath on a Saturday. Now, I've done programs directly dealing with the Sabbath. And again, I must bring in, because this is not just knowledge we're dealing with understanding and wisdom. And because we are, you know, brothers and sisters, we are spiritual kingsmen and kingswomen. Yes, we are. So sometimes we have to sift out certain things, and I like to sift out some of these psychological mentality that we have. You understand? So ones always say, well, you know, it's good that, you know, man can be bubble, man can be bingy, man can be this, but we need to go back to the original way, because Emmanuel was with us, you know. People like always say that. People are, and of course you hear me address it all the time. Well, not all the time, but a few times. I'm not really addressing it now. I just want to show that Pinnacle, back again to the first place now. Remember, this is what we argue for all those who, the first, and this is the first, and this is the first, and priest, this is the first, you know. Okay, this is the first. In the first, the Pinnacle we're talking now, according to Leonard P. Howell's daughter, We used to keep Sabbath on the Saturday. I tell you, Mama Dean done show, we were singing out of Sankey hymn book. And Bunga Isaac show you we ain't burning no herbs inside of the tabernacle. So I want to know when we restore Pinnacle if we can keep up all them things again. They say Sizzler Kalanji keeping Nyabingi with some faction of the Nyabingi in Jamaica every Saturday, some specific place, and some other part of the Bingi factor burning fire and that. I mean, I ain't getting into that, but one of the point is, is Mama, I heard Mama Shanti man clearly say, we don't know about no Sabbath thing, we need the Sabbath thing. But that's the beginning, that's how Leonard P. Howell started. Sabbath on a Saturday, in white, all Howellites, where are you? Put your lighters in the air. Yeah, the man keep his Sabbath. Leonard P. Howell, man. Yeah, man. Can I get a witness or what? Nobody say nothing. Leonard P. Howell keep his Sabbath. The Gong Guru Mirage. Keep his Sabbath on the Saturday in white clothes. Well, that's where Emmanuel get it from. That's not my point. I mean, I'm not getting into that with you, but that ain't my point. Okay, even if that's okay, all right, well, fair enough. If let's roll with that point then. Yeah, that's where Prince Emmanuel get it from. All right. So when you say he left it now, it don't seem like he left it. It seemed like he left you, and he left with it, because everything the ancients speak about seemed to be well in order with the Honorable King Emmanuel order. So you see, maybe he left the people, but he left with the order. If that's the first way we used to keep Sabbath.
And regarded Howell as a prophet.
Yes.
When I see him, you have to stand up, take off your cap,
Wow.
and bow to him. And a black man, It's a black man. Arise and shine, for the light has come.
They used to sing songs to him, just as I always sing a song to Jesus Christ.
All right. So all of that is coming from the Roaring Lion documentary. But I mean, it's just enough respect, man. Any which way you turn it, that's the vibes, And as I said, the Earth Day of Leonard P. Howell is just there, right there on the horizon. That will be on the 16th. Well, still a few days from now. Still several days from now, but when the time comes around, just give thanks and praises for the life and the example of such that has been expressed even to us, Yes, my brothers and sisters, do give thanks. Life giver and the keeper of life. If you know your Bible and you do not know your history, you don't know how it is, the knowledge of your Bible will become a mystery. And it takes some real eyes to realize the real lives that are amongst us. King Emmanuel, I, Selassie, I. Blessed love to everyone. Rastafari. Let me ask you a question now. Do you have a copy of our digital electronic book, The True Biblical Land of Israel? Now, if you do not have a copy of The True Biblical Land of Israel, to get a copy of The True Biblical Land of Israel, all you have to do is email us, priestisaac27@gmail.com. This is the book that was once a theological paper. This is the book that we have issued the challenge on. That challenge being, if anyone can dispute and refute our facts, that according to the biblical description, the geography of the Bible, according to the information coming out of that specific book, the biblical land of Israel, again, described in the Bible, is Africa plus Arabia. And as I said, within the pages of the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel, we give the facts, we give all the references as it relates to the narrative of the Bible. And of course, we still bring in some archaeology and anthropology. But of course, the core of the discussion is coming from the scriptures. So this is why the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel, is not a book to try to validate the Bible. It is a book that proves that according to the Bible, whatever the origin is, or wherever it came from, or whoever originally wrote it. That's not the point. The point that according to this well-respected book, the Bible, the land of Israel is Africa plus Arabia. So as I said, our ebook, all you have to do is email us and we ship it to you through the email. You find it in your inbox right away. And of course, your payments can be made right away as well, as we utilize the PayPal, and the PayPal is the same as our email, priestisaac27@gmail.com. And let me just say as well, for a very limited time, and we'll tell you when the time has met its limit, we will be offering the book Anu, Ancient and Modern, with the biblical land of Israel. Listen to me good. So when you buy or purchase the biblical land of Israel, we would give you a free copy of the book Anu. Now the value of both is $20 each United States currency. So you'll be literally getting a $40 value for just purchasing the biblical land of Israel. And the same goes for Anu. When you purchase the book Anu, Ancient and Modern, we will give you a free copy of the true biblical land of Israel. And listen to me, I'm not done yet. And when you purchase them both, you would get a free copy again. When you purchase them both now, you're buying the two of them, we give you a free copy of the Night of the Black Tiger, which is not a book, at least it's not in book form as yet, but it is our more recent DVD video documentary, The Night of the Black Tiger, the divinity of Marcus, Messiah God. And I can go on and on because we have so many other things to offer. And the point really is, once you shop with us, we always have some gift to give you. That's really the point. So as I said, the true biblical land of Israel. As I said, this is the book that is the challenge that has gone out, where we have just one university at the moment that has even responded to the challenge. So that means that there must be something in the book that cannot be denied. You need to get your copy of the book. And as I said, payments can be made through the PayPal as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Blessed love. So who is this?
This is Queen Nzinga. She was the 17th century warrior queen of the Ndongo and Matamba kingdoms, which is modern-day Angola. She was born in 1583 and had two sisters, Makambu and Kifunjin Bandi, and a half-brother named Mbandi.